Well, this is Baruch, and here you look over here, we're in Parshas Pinchas. This is the midnight Zohar. So we like to learn Zohar at nighttime. Zohar is a concept of light. It's the inner light that we seek, the light that we can't really understand, that we need so badly, like fish. Fish needs that water in order to be able to live. Here it is. Now what we're really concerned about over here is Pinchas, and the fact that we added the Yud to the name of Pinchas, and it had all different kinds of ramifications. And I will read real quickly through these two Zohars, and then we'll get to the Zohar with the Matav that we want to get into today. Begin do Yud min Shakai. So let's name the name Shakai, the Almighty, the Ihu Chulia the Shalshelas. It's really the ring that has the chain at the end of it that could be used by the right person to be able to control the Yetzer Hara. So he said, Mufuzarim kol shaded maziki. So from this you see that the Yud has the power to send away all the shadim, all the maziki. The siren, and immediately when it's seen on the doorposts of the gates, Baruchin, they run away. The Ba Itma, that in regards to that, it says La'azim Malkeichem Bezichim, to tie up their kings with chains, Benich Behaven, their aristocracy, Bebekavli Barzo, with chains of iron. Kol Shechein Kad Chazian La Ba'oz Tefillin Al Deroin. So certainly, when the signs of the tefillin are seen on their shoulders and on their arms, or Shemin Ba Ba'oz Bris Ba'bisaraihu, because there are places that say that the bris represents the letter Yud. He said, V'chazara Karav Yumos. The Zar that comes near, he should die. Le Zar, what's the Dar? Za Yetzer Hara. So this Yud has that power. I was just thinking, why is the Yud represented in the bris? Because, as we said, if you remember, if anybody's listened to this before, the Yesod of Abba, which is Chochmah, extends all the way into the Yesod of Zeranpin. And at the tip of that Yesod is where the transfer is made to the Makom, which is called Sion, which is the Yesod of the Nukva. This is in the Olam of Vitzilus, a world which is not physical, a world that is all emanation of the light of Hashem, but it's beginning where we could recognize it to some form, some understanding. So Dama the Kol Chavin Va'ovid Dorsin. So it's similar to the Yetzer Hara is all for the trampling, the tearing animals. Again, Dawn, it says Zocha na mihu naki ovid. So then, who is a person that would you ever see a person who is clean and pure that is destroyed? So he says, well, who is the person who is so clean? Meaning, who is a person that would never be destroyed because of his cleanliness? Because meaning purity. The Pinchas the Kanech al Bris. This is Pinchas who walked into the camp of Shemin, took a spear, and we said some mystical ideas of what exactly the concept of romach, or spear, is. We went through a little bit of that. Visrashim Bey de Ihu Bara the Malchum of Matranisa, and he was imprinted in him. That is this Yud, that he is the son of the king and the queen, and who is that Zer Anpin and Malchus. Kani b'machshava, so he had a thought, the jealousy was in his thought. V'zachin the os yismin avaya Yud v'navaya, so he also got the Yud from the name Yud Gei Bavke. V'kani b'ovadacha v'zachin the os Yud min adni, and so then he also was, this process brought him another Yud. V'kani b'ovada, in his actions, he carried out this jealousy for the bris. So that brought him ultimately, Maisa is Lashon Malchus. So it means that earthly. So it means it's physical. And that comes to the name Adni, which has a Yud at the end. And that's the concept that you could have a Chochmah at the beginning, that's the Yud of Yud Kei Vavke. And a Chochmah at the end, which is at the Yud of Adni. Again, the Adam Kadimo Chava Rishum B'Tarvayhu, since there is a Panemius of all of Kedusha within everything. Okumuku ale Rabban, the Rabban explained like this: the Ichu Rishon the Machshava v'Achron the Maisa, that the beginning is the Machshava, is the thought, the jealousy for the bris. And this is a really fundamental Zohar Dika idea. The protecting Shmiras of bris is really crucial in life, in success in life. So he says, so let's, I'm sorry, the Machshava, Achron, the Maisa, and in the end, it's also a Yud that comes at the very end when the deed is done. So the Zohar says the Hachi the Hamba Milin Elun. So this is all read by the Rayah Mahemna. This is Moshe Rabbeinu come and say this. It's Kasim and Eichel, but then he became hidden. He he appeared and then he disappeared. Rebbe Loba says so his how fortunate, how meritorious is our portion. The Zechena, the Mishbech, the Alma, the As, but they're able to hear words that are actually coming from Olam Haba, that is from Olam Abriya, Olam, of Bina. It's all coming from a place which is higher than physicality. So then we come over here, and this is where we're at right now. So the Zohar says, in the previous meeting in the yeshiva, so therefore there's a quote like this. It is this, I make a swear on this, on you. In other words, this is saying like this. I'm not sure where this is coming from, because we said that I think it's Pinchas is asked if he did it under his own will. Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair, so Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair, who has the same name, he says that this time, he says that in this story that we're hearing right now, there is a certain machshava that came into that struck the eyes of Rebbe Abba. In other words, was whispering in his ear, I think. You think that the Kodesh Baruch Hu has to ask whether, I guess it means whether Pinchas was really sincere in what he was doing or not? So if it's revealed by him, who else would it be revealed to? So therefore that says, that's what it says. Now, I might have missed a little bit of that, so let's go over to the Mata Bedevash. I'm going to bring this down closer so we could all see it better. It says like this. So he says, here he means B'chabura, he means the first publication. Lamada, we learn this, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, V'chein Emar, Hinei nosin lo as brisi shalom. So this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu in regards to Pinchas. I am giving him this concept. It's called the Brisi Shalom. So we understand from this that those who protect the bris and those who fight for this are actually bringing shalom into the world. This is how it comes. Hine milas l'chein. So therefore it says l'chein. Therefore, he lashon shavua. So he says this is the language of an oath. And what does that mean? So Moshe said, the Kodesh Baruch said to Moshe, I'm going to make an oath that you could say boldly, as bris shalom the Pinchas, that you're giving the bris of peace to Pinchas. If you want to do this or you don't want to do it. In order to reveal your thinking. If it's your desire to do this or not. Rebbe Abba says, he said this in the name of Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair, who is the father-in-law of Rebbe Shimon. Emily Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair. So Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair said to me, if you agree with this, what is this? He says there was a shadow. Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair. Now think about this. He said that a shadow came by him. Now what? A shadow is something that is not quite real. So he says, Osa Hatzael, that shadow, Shehoysa Muluvashas Bo Nishmas Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair. So apparently, the Neshamah of Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair was hidden inside of a shadow. Haka be'einav shel Rebbe Abba. It struck the eyes of Rebbe Abba, v'omalo, and he said, Lo hava yada kudsha berichu, hava beru'uzim lav. Translating, V'chi lo yada kodesh baruch hu imchoya beritzona, if it was his will, shel Moshe's will, o lo. Ad shechoyet sarak lahashbiyah, that he had to make him swear. Sheyomer shehu beritzona, that he should swear and say that is his will. Amar Rebbe Abba said to that, Im le galui mi galui lachrini. Im HaKadosh Baruch Hu Galui, if a Kodesh Baruch Hu is revealed, it will reveal what? Me, Amish, Galu, Lacheru. Who could say that it was revealed to others? Now, I'm not quite getting this exactly, right? Let's see what he says. So therefore it says, Moshe should say in his own mouth, that everybody should know that it's for a very good purpose, the Pinchas, Nasan the Pinchas as Bris Shalom, that a Pinchas therefore is granted the Bris Shalom. Those are the words of the Rayah Mahemna, and this is Baruch Fleischman. I'm at the Tikkun Elevator Kolo, and this is the Midnight Zohar.